Come on now, sit yourself down there by the fire. Back then, warmth wasn't something you switched on. It was something you fought for. And I reckon that's a story worth telling. It all started in the fall, August, sometimes even July. A man would walk into the forest with his sons, maybe his neighbors too, and they'd look at them trees with the eye of someone who knew his life depended on it, because it did. They needed to cut enough wood to heat their house for 5 months, 6 months, maybe even 7. That's a lot of wood, folks. We're talking cords and cords of it. Now, they didn't cut just any tree. No, sir. They knew which wood burned hot and long. Oak, hickory, maple. These were the precious ones, the keepers. Soft woods like pine? No. That'd just pop and spark and burn up in an hour, leaving you cold and your house smelling like resin and smoke. So every tree they felled had to count, every single one. I remember my grandfather telling me about days in the summer where he'd be out there with that axe from sunrise to sunset. Sun beating down on his back, sweat running down his face, muscles burning. But his mind was already thinking about January, thinking about February, thinking about them nights when the temperature dropped so far that the water in your bucket froze solid by morning. That wood had to be split proper, not just hacked apart. You split it along the grain so it would dry right, then stacked neat and organized so the air could get through it. And then it had to be covered, because wet wood won't burn right, won't give you heat. It just sits there and smolders and fills your house with smoke and ash. Some folks had wood piles as tall as their house. That wood pile wasn't just a pile of sticks. The heart of the home was the fireplace. Not like today, where a fireplace is something nice to look at while you're warm enough already. Back then, it was everything. It was heat, it was light, it was where you cooked your food. It was where the family gathered when the sun went down and the cold crept in. Everything, and I mean everything, revolved around that fire. Now, a fireplace in the 1850s was built different than what you might picture. Sometimes they'd build chimneys out of mud and sticks. We called them stick and mud chimneys. And let me tell you, those things were a fire hazard like you wouldn't believe. They'd catch fire, actually catch fire. The mud would dry out, cracks would form, and one day you'd smell smoke coming from inside your walls. You'd have to scramble up on the roof with a bucket of water and cut it out before your whole house burned down. But that was life. You dealt with it. The fireplace itself needed to be big. You needed one that could hold a massive log. We're talking logs 6 feet long, 8 feet long, heavy as a man, and burn for hours and hours. Some of them logs would smolder all night long. You'd bank the fire before bed, and those coals would keep going, giving off heat while the family slept upstairs in the cold. And here's something most people don't think about. The fireplace heated the room where it was, the front room mostly, but the bedrooms in the back, those stayed cold, dangerously cold. So families would gather in one room in the winter, just one room, the front room, the room with the fireplace. Mother mending clothes by the firelight, father smoking a pipe,
Children doing chores or playing quiet games. Everyone clustered around that heat like it was the center of the world. You know what that created? Togetherness, real closeness, not the kind you schedule or plan, the kind that happens when you're all fighting against something together. The fireplace also needed constant tending. You couldn't just light it once in the morning and forget about it. You had to feed it wood throughout the day, rake out the ash, make sure the chimney was drawing right. It was work, hard, constant, daily work, but it was also ritual. It was a rhythm that the whole family fell into, natural as breathing. And when you sat by that fire, when you felt that warmth on your face and your hands, there was a satisfaction to it, a real satisfaction, because you knew that warmth was there because of your work, your preparation, your sacrifice.
But staying warm wasn't just about the fire. It was about what you wore, what you wrapped around yourself. But more than that, it was about being held. People in the 1850s, they dressed for winter in layers. Wool, always wool. Long underwear, socks, pants, shirts, coats, layer upon layer. But a bed in the 1850s wasn't like a bed today. It wasn't about comfort. It was a fortress, a nest of blankets and warmth. You'd pile on 3 blankets, 4 blankets, sometimes 5 blankets on top of you. Your body heat would warm them up, and they'd keep that warmth trapped around you through the whole night. But people didn't sleep alone in winter, not if they could help it. A husband and wife would share a bed, children would share beds, sometimes grandparents would sleep in the same room, even the same bed, just for the warmth. I remember my grandmother telling me about winter nights when she was a girl. She'd get into bed and her feet would be like ice, just frozen solid. And her mother would wrap them in flannel cloth and hold them against her own legs to warm them up. They'd lie there together in the dark, surrounded by blankets, listening to the wind outside, hearing the house creak and groan, and she'd feel safe. Not because the house was warm, it wasn't. The bedroom was cold. You could see your breath in the morning. But because she wasn't alone, because she could feel her mother's warmth right there against her feet, because she knew someone was there in the darkness, keeping her safe. That's something we've lost, reckon. That closeness born out of necessity, that real physical feeling of being held, of being protected, of knowing that another person's warmth was keeping you alive. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't sentimental, it was real.
Now folks in the 1850s, they weren't just passive about the cold. No sir, they had tricks, secrets they'd learned over generations, things that worked. One thing they did was something called a warming stone, or a warming pan. You'd take a flat stone, slate was good, or even smooth river rock, and heat it real good in the fire. Get it nice and hot. Once it was hot, you'd wrap it in cloth and carry it real careful to bed with you. You'd put it at the foot of your bed, or hold it against your chest under the blankets. That warm stone would hold its heat for hours. Hours! It was like having a tiny fire in your bed with you. By the time it got cold, you'd already be warm and sleepy, drifting off to sleep. Some people, especially folks with a little more money, they'd use hot water bottles made of clay or thick glass. Same idea. You'd fill them with hot water from the kettle, wrap them in cloth, and take them to bed. By morning, the water would be cold, but you'd have made it through the night warm and comfortable. Here's another trick. They bank the fire. That means they rake all the coals to the center of the fireplace and cover them with ash. This would slow down the burn, something fierce. You could bank a fire at night before you went to bed, and those coals would still be burning come morning. Not a big fire, but enough to give off heat, enough to take the worst edge off the coal. And the windows, folks would cover their windows with heavy cloth in winter, not because it looked nice, it didn't, but because glass is cold. It draws heat right out of the room like a thief in the night. Some people would stuff cloth or newspaper around the window frames to block drafts. Every crack, every gap, you'd stuff it with something. It was uncomfortable, but it worked. They'd also use the kitchen stove. The kitchen was often warmer than any other room, so on the coldest days the family would gather in the kitchen, do their chores there, do their mending there, stay close to that heat. It wasn't ideal, but it was survival, and there was a kind of togetherness in it.
Here's something people don't think about much. Food. In the 1850s, staying warm and eating well were connected. They had to be. The kitchen was often the second warmest room in the house. Why? Because there was a stove there, and that stove was burning wood all day, heating up whatever was cooking on it. So families would cook hearty things in winter. Stews, long cooking soups, things that simmered for hours and hours. That food not only warmed your belly from the inside, it warmed the whole room while it cooked. I remember my mother telling me about how winter meals were different. She'd make a big pot of stew in the early morning, put it on the stove with carrots, potatoes, whatever meat they had, and it would simmer all day long. The kitchen would stay warm. By evening, when the whole family gathered around the table, there was hot food waiting, and the room was as warm as any room in the house. People also ate more in winter, more fat, more calories, more bread. Because staying warm burns energy. Your body needs fuel to generate heat. It's like the fire in the fireplace. If you don't feed it wood, it dies down. Same with the body. And the kitchen was where people would gather in the morning before the fire was fully built up. You'd wake up in that cold bedroom and come downstairs in the dark, light a lantern, get the stove going. You'd stand around that stove while it warmed up, your hands out, feeling that heat, waiting for the kitchen to warm up enough that you could think straight again. Each day had a rhythm to it. Wake up, get the fire going, prepare breakfast, gather the family, eat together, plan the day. There was comfort in that, real comfort. Now, I don't want to paint too pretty a picture here. I want to be honest with you. Winter in 1850s was hard, harder than most of us can imagine nowadays. If you didn't prepare, if you didn't cut enough wood, or if the wood was wet, or if your fireplace broke down, people died. Not dramatically, not quick, just quietly. Hypothermia, pneumonia, illnesses that the cold made worse. Children suffered especially, old folks too. And if you were poor, if you didn't have resources, winter was a real threat. But even with all that hardship, there was something in it, something we've lost. People knew what they were fighting against. They had a clear enemy, the cold, and they fought it together as families, as communities. There was no loneliness in winter back then because you were never alone. You were always with other people, huddled around that fire, sharing warmth, sharing stories, sharing the work of survival. Everyone was in it together. You know, I think about winter nights nowadays. Central heating, electric blankets, thermostats you can control from your phone. We have everything they didn't have. And it's good, it's comfort, it's progress. But I wonder sometimes if we lost something in the bargain. We don't need each other to stay warm anymore. We don't have to sit together by a fire. We don't have to share a bed or huddle in one room or listen to each other's stories through the long, dark hours of winter. We can just turn up the thermostat and go to our separate rooms. And maybe that's progress. But I reckon we also lost something. Some kind of closeness, some kind of safety that came from knowing the people around you were warm because you kept them warm, and they kept you warm. So tonight, when you go to bed, maybe think about those winter nights in the 1850s. Think about the families huddled together under blankets, listening to the fire crackle, hearing the wind outside, feeling safe because they were together. Think about how warmth wasn't just temperature. It was being held. It was being known. It was being there. Rest now. The fire will keep us warm through the night.